Hey, KT, good morning.
Good morning.
Well, the Benghazi thing, I mean, now they're asking for documents, and they say, you know what? In all of the documents you provided us, it seems sort of clear to us now that you didn't give us everything.
Yeah, and they probably didn't give them everything. Look, there are going to be a smoking gun in this because everything now, nothing's secret. You know, there's emails for everything. There's a paper trail. You think you've scrubbed your computer. You haven't really scrubbed your computer. And especially not just the leading up to the Benghazi attack. We know that people screwed up. I mean, that's pretty obvious. We had 4 dead Americans. But it's what happened the night of and what happened afterwards. To me, the smoking gun is there an order from somebody to stand down and not to attempt a rescue mission? If there was, there's a paper trail for that because the military doesn't do anything without written authorization, one way or the other.
And that should be what's being subpoenaed as well, KT McFarland. And even further, my understanding is, and I'm getting this from Eli Lake from the Daily Beast, that phone call that the whistleblower says he made to Hillary Clinton at 2 in the morning during this entire affair in Benghazi, that phone call should have been recorded, encrypted certainly, but there should be a copy of that recording, of that phone call somewhere. Shouldn't that be made public so we know exactly what the direction was?
You know, here's the thing. I mean, I was in the basement of the White House during Watergate poring through our files when they were subpoenaed by the Watergate Committee, on which, interestingly, Hillary Clinton was a junior staffer.
How about that?
By the way, did you know they're making a movie of that now, due to be released in 2016 of all years?
What a coincidence.
Yes.
But here's the thing. You know, for Secretary Kerry, he's a man who's never been touched by scandal. And what's now happened is we could be well entering a period of a constitutional crisis. I'm not saying we're there today, but we could be there in 6 months. We could be there in 9 months. These investigations by the congressional committees will go forward. They all have subpoena power. There are 5 committees. They're looking into everything from the wiretapping of the journalists to the IRS intimidation to the Benghazi affair. This stuff eventually comes out, and it's important for somebody like Secretary Kerry to keep his integrity, to keep himself separate, because the one thing we saw during Watergate was when it became pretty clear that there might be a succession, there might be an impeachment, there might be a new president, there might be new people.
Right.
It was very important to keep the ones with integrity in the government functioning, like my boss, Henry Kissinger, like Gerald Ford, who was vice president and who kind of stepped away from the process, because ultimately you need to have somebody running the country.
Right.
And if we do end up in one of these periods, you want to have somebody like Secretary Kerry. So he should cooperate, he should give them whatever they want, and then he should himself not be part of this.
I'm just going to say one name. Watch out. Watch out for documents that have the name Cheryl Mills attached to them. But on another topic, I want to move to this story that came out yesterday. Chinese hackers, we have learned, have apparently compromised the U.S. design for more than 24 of our weapon systems. The Chinese continue to hack us, and we don't seem to be able to do a darn thing about it.
Well, I was in China 2 weeks ago, and when I asked the vice foreign minister that very question, why are you hacking us? And he brushed it away and said, well, we're getting hacked too. We're the victims of hacking. We're not the hackers. We're the victims. It's an international problem. We need an international solution. Okay, so the administration needs to push for an international solution fast, because whether it's the Chinese hacking us or the Iranians or the Russians, not only are they hacking us and stealing stuff, but they're going to eventually sabotage us using that hacking ability. But I think with regard to China, it's time to no longer ignore the problem. It's time to confront them with the problem. It's time to name and shame. I mean, we even have pictures of the hackers who work in the office building out in the outskirts of Shanghai who are doing the hacking. Put the pictures up. Name them and shame them so the Chinese can't scoot around it. And then ultimately we have the silver bullet. We have the ace in the hole. What's that? What do the Chinese fear more than anything? That their people have unlimited and unfettered access to the Internet. We could bring down the great firewall of China. And so I think it's important to walk into any negotiations with the Chinese not in a cowering position of fear because of our economic dependency on them, but to say, look, you have stolen trillions of dollars of research and development and intellectual property from us, and particularly from our defense industries, and we're not going to put up with it.
Wow. You know, Katie, I had never even thought that we had any leverage in this. I even said that, but you're right. That is great leverage. We could just bring down the firewall, and China could see everything on the Internet. Boy,
one thing they fear the most.
That's the one thing they fear.
Is information. That's right.
Now, what causes political instability? A lot of
information.
unhappy people.
That's right.
Thank you, KT.
KT, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank